Welcome back to The Explainer. You know, everyone is talking about AI and education, but I think we're asking the wrong question. It's not about how to cram more AI into the classroom. The real question is, what do we need to protect from it?
I mean, check this out. This is a pretty powerful idea, right? A super tutor for every kid for $20 a month. On the surface, it sounds like a utopia, unlocking potential everywhere. But, and this is a big but, what if this whole idea of instant expertise completely misses the point of how we actually learn things?
See, that whole vision, it's based on one big assumption, that the main roadblock to learning is just getting access to information. But what if that's not the problem at all? What if the real problem is something that AI's incredible efficiency actually causes?
So let's dive into this idea, this AI tutor illusion. It's so tempting, right? The promise of this perfect AI super tutor. But there are hidden costs here. And the weird thing is, this isn't about AI messing up or getting things wrong. It's about what happens when it gets things perfectly right.
I mean, just think about the last time you really learned something. You probably struggled with it, right? You got confused, maybe you even got frustrated and hit a dead end. Well, it turns out that friction, that struggle, that's exactly where the real, deep learning happens. So when an AI just hands you a perfect, polished answer in 2 seconds, it's actually robbing you of the most important part of the process.
And this isn't just theory. Get this, a study out of MIT found that when people used AI for writing, their brain connectivity actually went down. And what's wild is that just a few moments later, a lot of them couldn't even explain the work they'd just produced. Researchers have a name for this. They call it cognitive debt. It's like taking out a loan. You get the great result right now, but you pay for it later with your own ability to think.
Okay, so the answer isn't just to throw out AI altogether. That's not what this is about. The key is to understand that there are actually 2 different kinds of thinking, and we need to get really clear on which one is which because one of them is truly irreplaceable. Okay, so first up, you've got what we can call type 1 thinking. For like decades, this is what school has been all about, teaching these structured step-by-step methods. Things like brainstorming techniques, design thinking, Scamper, all these frameworks with clear steps you can follow. It's the kind of thinking you can easily see and, well, give a grade to.
And here's the kicker. AI is now incredible at this stuff. It can perform every single one of those techniques better and faster than any human ever could. So what used to be a thinking skill is now, well, it's just prompt engineering. If we only teach kids this kind of thinking, we're not protecting them from being dependent on AI, we're actually training them for it.
But then there's this whole other category. Let's call it type 2 awareness. And this is completely different. It's not a method or a series of steps. It's that internal, kind of quiet capacity to just notice things. To notice when you're confused or to spot an assumption that no one's talking about. It's about seeing the edges of an idea.
And when you put them side by side, the difference is just, wow, it's so clear. An AI can give you a perfect summary of an article, no problem. But it can't feel your confusion about that summary. It can spit out 50 brainstormed ideas, but it has zero ability to get that little spark, that gut feeling about which one is actually brilliant. That stuff, that's all you. It's totally, irreducibly human.
And you know what's cool? This isn't just some fluffy philosophical idea. It actually goes way back to some really deep mathematical proofs from guys like Gödel and Tarski. Basically what they proved is that any formal system, and yeah, AI is a formal system, can't see its own limits from the inside. It's trapped. But when you notice your own confusion, you're essentially stepping outside the system and looking back in. That's a move that AI, by its very nature, just cannot make.
Okay, so that leads to a pretty big question, right? If this type 2 awareness isn't just another technique you can teach from a textbook, then how on earth do you cultivate it? Well, the answer isn't to add more stuff. It's actually about protecting a space for this kind of quiet noticing to just happen.
And this quote from Usa Jamar just nails it. It totally reframes the whole conversation. The goal isn't just how do we use AI more. The goal is what does AI make invisible and how do we protect that thing? And what it makes invisible is all that good stuff. The productive struggle, that feeling of being genuinely confused, that slow, messy journey that actually leads to a breakthrough.
So okay, that's the big idea. But what does this look like in the real world? Well, let's check out a practical tool designed for exactly this. They're called the Shadow Explorer cards. And the key thing to get is that they're not trying to teach a skill. They're designed to protect a space for that type 2 awareness to show up.
And they are so simple. Take this one, for example.
The front just has one word: stuff.
And then you flip it over, and it just asks, what would this need in real life? It's not some complicated instruction, right? It's just a little nudge, a gentle interruption that pulls you away from the clean, perfect AI answer and back into messy reality.
Or how about this one? The card just says, hidden voice.
And the question on the back is, whose perspective isn't in this? See, again, it's not a checklist item. It's not a procedure. It's just an invitation to pause and notice something. This really gets to the heart of what this is all about.
And what's maybe most important is understanding how you could totally break these things. Their power is all about what they don't do. The second you turn them into a required step, like, okay, kids, now answer the card, the whole thing falls apart. The magic is gone. The point isn't to get an answer. The point is to protect that little flicker of curiosity.
So when you start thinking this way, it leads to a totally different and, frankly, much more powerful relationship with technology. It's the difference between asking AI for answers and bringing your own questions to it.
Is really the difference between treating AI like an all-knowing oracle versus a thought partner. See, the kid who only knows how to prompt asks the oracle for an answer, and yeah, they get a perfect answer, but it's often to the wrong question. But the kid who's developed that type 2 awareness, they use AI as a sparring partner, a thought partner, to poke holes in their own ideas and sharpen their own questions.
And really, that's the whole point, isn't it? The goal isn't less AI or more AI. It's about helping kids develop that internal ability to notice things. Because when they have that, they don't get worse at using technology, they get way, way better. They're actually augmenting their own thinking instead of just outsourcing it. So we kind of end up right back where we started, but looking at the question in a whole new light. The most important question isn't how do we incorporate AI, it's what does AI make invisible and how do we protect it? It's not about the tool, it's about us. It's about protecting that slow, sometimes frustrating, but absolutely irreplaceable human process where real, lasting learning actually happens.